We will go high. Love, grace, humility will win. And then you tell everybody to go to hell. You think that's going to work for you, Coach White? Think that's going to work for you? The reality of the situation is none of that stuff will win if it's left up to you, Stephanie White. Because you're not handling it right. You playing right into their hands. Right into their hands.
What if Stephen A. Smith isn't just breaking down the Indiana Fever anymore, but openly questioning Stephanie White's decisions as their head coach? The controversy involving Sophie Cunningham, Dijonai Carrington, and one disputed coaching call has suddenly pushed White into the center of the storm. Caitlin Clark and the Fever may still have her back, but Stephen A's criticism raises a much bigger question. Did White simply make one questionable decision, or is Indiana dealing with a deeper leadership problem?
Player safety is always a top priority for me. One of the things I pride myself on is my relationships with players. I thought the play got called right. Thankfully, Sophie's okay. Was it egregious? Absolutely. When you have a chance to watch that over and over and over on replay, you can see that. I didn't have that in real time. The hate, the fear-mongering, the divisiveness, the stuff that's trying to hijack our league will not win. It won't win. We are united. We are connected. We will not be...
Stephen A. Smith has taken the Indiana Fever's latest controversy to another level. This time, the debate goes far beyond whether Stephanie White simply made a questionable coaching decision.
The reality of the tense situation that the WNBA, and especially you as the coach of the Indiana Fever, is involved in. There are folks in Indiana at a home game booing you. You ain't the road team, you the home team, you the home coach, and they booing you. And Sophie Cunningham and Caitlin Clark can speak up for you all they want to, as they did, and as they should have.
The bigger question is whether the Fever coach is starting to lose the trust of the very players she's supposed to lead. And now Stephen A. Smith is pushing for answers that are becoming harder and harder for Indiana to avoid.
White, I've been a defender, the coach of the Fever. Get her out of there. Get her out of there. Fire her ass today. I don't want her back on that bench. Stop defending the other players. Oh, she plays hard, DJ. That's just her being her. You see Caitlin in the press conference almost cover her ears and her eyes. Defend your players. First of all, you're wrong. It was a dirty play. She's gone. But when do you ever see in like the NBA a coach not defend their own players? She hasn't done it with Caitlin when Caitlin got punched in the throat.
The controversy started with a play that quickly became bigger than the game itself. During the Fever's August 8th matchup against the Chicago Sky, Dijonai Carrington was ejected after making contact with Sophie Cunningham around the head and neck area on a breakaway. Officials reviewed the play, upgraded the foul to a flagrant 2, and immediately sent Carrington out of the game.
See what happened when this young lady got ejected from a WNBA game the other day for a flagrant foul on Sophie Cunningham? Did y'all see that? She got ejected from the game for that flagrant foul right there. And I'll be damned if that wasn't a flagrant 2. She mugged her. Damn near came across like decapitating her, for crying out loud. That was definitely a hard foul. Make no mistake about it. Nobody can argue about it. You can say what you want. We know what we saw. No way around it. Dijonai Carrington foul was clearly unnecessary. It was a flagrant foul penalty too. It was absolutely positively correct call.
On paper, that should have been the end of the story. There was a hard foul. The officials reviewed it, made their decision, and the game moved forward. But the controversy refused to disappear. What followed pulled in player safety, coaching decisions, social media, race, politics, and fan reactions, eventually putting Stephanie White's position in Indiana under the microscope. The Fever were suddenly dealing with more than the foul itself. They were facing questions about how their own coach described what happened afterward. White's explanation might have settled things, but the footage circulating online told a different story to many viewers. That created a growing gap between what fans believed they saw and what White said she saw. And that uncomfortable contradiction is exactly where Stephen A. Smith stepped into the debate.
That Stephanie is stuck in is she knows Dijonai is a good person, but now she's coaching people who are likely taking money from the Heritage Foundation, has a large MAGA racist fan base, and they didn't like that she defended Dijonai.
Take personally any suggestions that I don't 100% always have my players back.
Smith didn't treat this as a simple argument over whether Carrington's foul deserved a flagrant. He went straight after the bigger issue, Stephanie White's responsibility as the Fever's head coach. His point was simple. When you're the coach, you're expected to see what's happening, recognize when a player takes dangerous contact, and respond when the moment demands it. When someone is left on the floor after a hard collision, fans expect the coach to react immediately, not wait for social media to produce multiple camera angles and turn the moment into another controversy. That has led some people to question whether White's familiarity with Carrington affected her initial reaction. But that remains speculation, because knowing a player doesn't automatically mean a coach will defend everything she does.
Flagrant to every single damn time in the NBA and the WNBA. But you know things have devolved when you've got the Attorney General for the state of Florida saying that's why WNBA games ain't here, because guess what? We are the prosecutors. Attorney General James Uthmeyer, the WNBA knows better than to play games down here in Florida, because I'll be charging people with assault. I should probably clarify, assault and battery. That is from the Attorney General of the state of...
Coaches spend years building relationships with players, learning their personalities, habits, and tendencies. White's supporters can argue that she simply described what she believed she saw in real time, rather than intentionally protecting a former player. But her critics are asking a tougher question. Would White have reacted the same way if she had never coached Carrington? That question has become a major reason this controversy refuses to die. Once trust enters the conversation, every explanation gets examined more closely. Then the temperature rose again when White addressed the criticism before the Fever faced the New York Liberty. Instead of giving the usual carefully prepared coaching statement, White pushed back hard against her critics. The message was clear. She wasn't interested in backing down.
You're wrong, but it starts to make me think you care more about the overlying social issues and not pissing off other people in the league and saying men can play in the league, because she's one of those players, coaches, when asked, always is taking the far, left side of it. This isn't politics. Your player got assaulted. Defend your player in the press conference. Be like, yeah, that was a dirty play. She should have hit the showers. She acts like she's the coach of the other team. I don't care if she's the best X's and O's when she's not. Get her the hell out of there. Either defend your players again.
The emotion behind White's comments was impossible to miss. She wasn't just responding to one controversial foul anymore. She was pushing back against what she believed was an attempt to divide her team and question her character. And there is a fair argument on White's side. Coaching the WNBA is already demanding, but leading the Indiana Fever with Caitlin Clark at the center of so much attention brings another level of pressure. Every decision becomes a headline. Every substitution becomes a debate, and even a facial expression can spark another story. But Stephen A. Smith's criticism isn't really about the standings. It's about leadership. And that became even more uncomfortable when Fever fans started booing Stephanie White inside her own arena.
Dumbest coach I've ever seen. Love, grace, humility, integrity. And you can go to hell if you don't love, grace, and integrity who I want. She is the dumbest human being to ever coach a professional sport. I say love wins. I will always have their back, except you didn't with Alyssa Thomas, except you didn't with Dijonai Carrington, except you didn't going back, except you never have. Hell, you're so stupid you can't even tell us what a woman is. You can't even tell us the difference between a man.
Think about how strange that situation is. White wasn't coaching on the road in Chicago, New York, or Las Vegas. She was standing on her own home court, surrounded by Fever fans, and some of those fans were still booing her. Stephen A. Smith pointed directly at that reality, stressing that White wasn't the opposing coach. She was leading the home team. That's more than routine criticism. It's a serious warning sign. But the situation got even more complicated when Caitlin Clark publicly defended White. Clark reportedly said the booing made her feel sick and showed that the players still had their coach's back. She also indicated the Fever wanted to win that game for White. So now Indiana has two very different stories happening at once. Inside the locker room, White appears to have strong player support, while outside it, the criticism keeps growing. And player loyalty can be powerful without automatically ending the debate over coaching decisions.
Plenty of chances to come out with a statement like this and chose not to come out with a statement like this. But when she saw that her job was in jeopardy, after the Lieutenant Governor of Indiana came out with that statement, after she came out to say that she believed that the play between Dijonai Carrington and Sophie Cunningham wasn't intentional, when she came out with that statement and she saw how those fans reacted to her saying that, how the governor of Indiana came out saying how she spoke about that, now she wants to make a statement. Now she wants to try to flip her words and say that, oh, she didn't see video clips and see all this. Stand on business.
The interesting part is that Sophie Cunningham has continued supporting White throughout the controversy, while White's broader message has been about staying united and refusing to let outside pressure divide the team. Caitlin Clark then answered the criticism where it matters most, on the court. Against New York, Clark delivered 22 points and 10 assists as Indiana cruised to a 106-92 victory. It was also the Fever's 15th 100-point game of the season, adding an almost ironic twist. While people outside the locker room were debating whether White should be fired, her team responded by putting 106 points on the board. But fans want more than wins. They want consistency, protection for their players, and explanations that match what they believe they saw. That may be White's biggest problem right now. If she had simply acknowledged missing the play, accepted the mistake, and explained how she would handle it differently after seeing the replay, the controversy might have ended much sooner. Instead, every new explanation created another question.
I really believe that Stephanie White deserves to be fired. I don't care about the injury excuse. I think that's what they're going to use to keep her for another year, which they will, because, well, look at the injuries. See, she couldn't do her job. That's what they're going to do. And most likely, 99%, she'll be back. But honestly, the job she did, she deserves to get fired. She does. Let me tell you why. Number one, poor roster and cover for Bonner. To me, that alone should get her fired.
First, White said she didn't see the play clearly in real time. Then the replay became central to the controversy, and she acknowledged that the footage showed something more serious. After that came an emotional message about love, grace, humility, and kindness, followed by a sharp response to her critics. By then, the story had moved far beyond basketball and into a battle over perception. And once fans feel that the explanations don't add up, every new statement can make the situation even harder to control. That's why Stephen A. Smith's criticism stands out. He isn't attacking White over one comment. He's questioning the entire sequence and whether she understands the difference between supporting her players and holding them accountable. A coach can defend a player's character while admitting a mistake. She can maintain a relationship with a former player while condemning a dangerous foul. Sometimes, real leadership means being willing to do both.
To be fired. The ESPN analysts that hate Caitlin Clark said it all. It's the sisterhood. And the sisterhood is Stephanie White's team. That's where most of the dramas came from. In Caitlin Clark's, now Sophie Cunningham's career. Stephanie White just defended Dijonai Carrington's, whatever you want to call it, assault attack on Sophie Cunningham. She defended Alyssa Thomas's fist to the throat and made Alyssa Thomas out to be the victim.
That is exactly why this confrontation has become so compelling. Stephen A. Smith is forcing a question nobody involved really wants to answer. What does accountability look like when the coach herself becomes part of the controversy? And this isn't some quiet rebuilding team. It's Caitlin Clark's Indiana Fever, where every game is magnified, every controversy explodes online, and every comment from the coach can become a headline. That pressure isn't going away, and the more every moment gets analyzed, the harder it becomes for White to simply coach without becoming part of the story. But there is one thing that can change the narrative fast: winning. If the Fever start losing, every unresolved question around White could come rushing back. That's why this moment matters. Stephen A. Smith has put a spotlight on tensions that were already building, and the booing shows that some fans are seriously unhappy.
It is getting absolutely worked today. Wow, it's bad. Do you know how bad you must be? Do you know how unfavorable do you know how out of touch you must be with your fan base, with your state, to where the lieutenant governor of your own state is demanding that you get fired?
The players defending White suggest the locker room may not share the frustration coming from some fans. Caitlin Clark's response shows that the Fever's biggest star doesn't want the controversy dividing the team, while White's emotional defense makes it clear she believes the criticism has gone too far. Still, major questions remain. Did White genuinely miss the Carrington-Cunningham incident in real time, or did she simply misread what happened? Did her previous relationship with Carrington affect her reaction, or is that criticism unfair? Can a coach tell critics to go to hell while also asking everyone else to lead with grace and humility? Most importantly, can White turn all this noise into something that ultimately strengthens the Fever? Stephen A. Smith may have started the confrontation, but the next chapter belongs to Stephanie White, and now she has to answer the criticism where it matters most, with results.